You all
Yeah, it was just a daft little crack and like motivation to help us both.
Does she run a lot?
I assume so.
So she's going to fuck you over.
Yeah. She's going to fuck me over.
Thank you very much for joining us for one more round, and welcome back to another episode of Film Club. I'm one your host, Andy Harrison, and as always, to my right, Danny Donaldson.
Hello there.
About to get fucked over.
About to get fucked over indeed.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you guys at home along to watch a film with us. We are here this week to watch. Hang on, before we do that whole shtick, we had a conversation recently about the changing up the drum roll. And you wanted to introduce a different sound effect.
Oh, yes. So how
did you have a think about this?
Well, no, I didn't. Hell, did I?
Well, that's okay, because I got it covered. When you remind me of this, we had a conversation, and then he was like, no, let's have like little different sound effects. We'll try and do like a different sound effect to replace the
like competition,
because he never does it.
Or like when the thing comes in or whatever, like a...
But it occurred to me, I've got a clip of you doing a drum roll. So roll clip. Haha, motherfucker. I can make you drum roll whenever I want.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Right.
So we are doing Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Motherfucker, what's that?
King Arthur, mate, isn't it?
It's amazing.
King Arthur. Alex got me it for Christmas. So yeah, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Go on. What's... He's got his hands up and like...
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Monty Python, obviously. It's their first feature film, and it's about King Arthur and a group of knights going on a quest to find the Holy Grail and all the dangerous perils that they have on the way. It's such a great movie. I'm sorry, but it's such a great movie.
It's so good. Like, so we said last week we wanted to watch this because of Animal House. And like,
it's hard to compare, like both the kind of humour there.
Yeah, and it is, because funny enough, we said last week, Animal House, hugely culturally relevant. This blows out the water.
Not just this, Monty Python in general, but yeah. So this is Monty Python showing that they don't just have to do the flying circus, the sketch shows. They've made a film with a kind of a plot with loose little sketches interleaved throughout the film.
Yep.
And yeah, it culturally, the Monty Python as a whole, with respect to Animal House and those behind it, blows many comedy out the water. Many comedies.
Yeah.
They're so iconic. There's a reason that comedy nowadays, like it was huge in America. Monty Python were huge in America at one point, more than Britain. And it's just a reason that everyone knows who Monty Python are.
Yeah.
It's just that they've got everything. And you look at the film and they've got lovely little clips where it's just like the daft, of course, the daft. That's one of the main things they are. They've got lovely little snippets. Like we were watching it just then, and it's on about, you tit. I soiled my arm. I was so scared. Then later on he goes, I've done it again. Just like little things like that come in. You got the great, lovely animation by Terry Gilliam, which helps move the film along. Also just adds a weird kind of like, especially the intros, like this and Life of Brian, superb intros. When you got like the thing going through the air. I think Life of Brian, you got a thing going through the air. You'll see it down there anyway, and it's the guy in a flower. Then he's like, whoop, like that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And stuff like that. Great, really works. And then you just got like all the other little parts, like I'm not to go back to that word, but the sheer daftness of it, like in some things, like the comedy is so audacious. It's almost like
it is.
It tries to be so silly, it's hilarious, but it works at the same time. These guys aren't just doing. A lot of people who don't understand Monty Python might just see these guys just doing something. It's just to be stupid. These guys be stupid with a whole load of wit behind it. There is so much wit. There's so much thought and intelligence behind this humour that just comes across so stupidly.
And that's the biggest, strongest part for me, is that we talk about Animal House being like quite plot light, and it was kind of like, it was almost like skit vignettes of like ideas. And obviously they took that from Monty Python. That's an influence of taken from Monty Python. And it shows up here in the Holy Grail that like, it has a very tenuous plot. These guys are going out to find the Holy Grail for some reason, like that's their quest. But really it's just an excuse to have a selection of like silly skits happen. But everything, like you said, is so intelligently woven together throughout the film that it doesn't come off as random. there's little bits that are random, and what I really appreciate is the bits that are random. Stuff like
What, the intermission when they're going across the bridge?
stuff like the intermission,
It's just
or
like a meter forward.
or stuff like the beast they find, the black beast of whatever
Yeah.
it is. That's totally random, but
I
it
wouldn't say it's random.
it has no consequence on the plot.
But I wouldn't say it's random. I think it does have consequence. Can I play
Yeah, go
devil's
for it.
advocate? Well, if you look at these guys, like look at the budget they had for the film. How are they going to do this massive beast and get them through this cave to the other end, and like get them through like basically fast forward the plot without having like a montage over music? They have a beast and they do it animated, and the beast chases them and they come out on the other end, and then that's how they get to the bridge. So it's essentially them
Don't they
entering.
come out the same side?
No,
Do they not?
no.
Okay, fair enough. That helps then. But all the
see
stuff
what you
also that
mean,
comes
yeah.
off totally random is completely irrelevant to the plot, and that's good. It doesn't mean that like when they write themselves into a corner, they just come up with something random to get themselves back on track.
No.
Instead,
it's thought
everything's really thought out. Everything is really thought out to the point that stuff that is mentioned very early on, or stuff that is hinted at, ends up being a joke that you didn't realize was going to be a joke.
A good example of this is when there's a really funny moment where they break the fourth wall, and it's all about Sir Galahad getting peril, and it's Zuzu's sister who's called like Donkey or something. I forget what she's called. It's
Yeah,
not
I can't
Donkey.
remember her name.
Dingo, I think it is, and she's just like, "Oh, I do love this scene," and everyone's going, "Get on with it!" And you have like you have cameos from people, characters that don't actually appear in the film. A good example is Tim, and it's stuff like that. It's just like this whole breaking the fourth wall. Get on with it. God's going, get on
And
with
they're
it.
like, oh, it's the guy from Scene 24.
Scene 24.
Like that's it. Like when they break the fourth wall, they don't just break the fourth wall and it's like, oh, wasn't that
break it.
funny and charming?
Yeah.
They do it in a way which is actually serving the plot.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it at first.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite kind of like little gags is something you don't realize is a gag at first is that the king can't count to 3. He keeps going 1, 2, 5. Every time he means to say 3, he says 5, and then the holy hand grenade's introduced where he has to count to 3, and he fucks it up. It's brilliant.
Honestly, it's so well thought out, and it's a lot of cases Monty Python's like that. You ever look at the end where he's breaking the fourth wall and the police come in and they hit the camera, and it's just like, no, stop recording. Speaking of which, the ending is one of my favourite bits about this whole film. That's true Monty Python. What do you think?
I agree, because what it does is subverts your expectation, like whole hog for cinema. Like you're building up to the big battle, you're building up to them getting the Grail. This whole film's been about them getting the Grail. But they realised, while writing it, I think they realised it wasn't about them getting the Grail. So they didn't need the fight. They didn't need them to go in the castle and find a Grail or not find a Grail. They didn't need any of that. So instead, just subverted it for this like awesome joke. And it's absolutely hilarious. And like, again, the fact that that is seeded way back when, does somebody get, that guy pops up who's presenting a documentary?
That's fucking hilarious.
And
so
he gets
that's a
trampled?
really good example of the what's random and well intelligently thought out. He's telling a story about Monty Python, and he's actually telling the story, narrating the story as it goes on. He then dies, and his death is a consequence of that ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
his death leads to...
Yeah, so that ending is a consequence of his initial death. Sorry, wrong way around.
Because again, like a lesser film, like this plot, this storyline in a lesser writer's hands would have had that joke about the guy being trampled, and that would have been it. But instead, it keeps coming back. And like again, people who are better writing might bring it back a few times. But the genius in Monty Python is they bring it back, make it more important until Lancelot gets arrested and is removed from the plot. And then eventually,
where's he gone?
Eventually, that ends up being the entire payoff for the film. It's brilliant.
So another thing about that ending is why it's so good. That's what I've been searching for here. I'm trying to find the exact quotes now, so I can go through. And it's all about the Argument Clinic. If you've ever seen the Argument Clinic sketch, you'll probably put it down there. And it's where, is it Michael Palin comes in to John Cleese, and it's like having an argument. She's like, I want to have an argument. So she's like, all right, 20 minutes, there you go. And then after 5 minutes, or even 2 minutes, he shuts it off and he goes, that wasn't 20 minutes. Yes, it was. No, you just, what's the word? It begins with C. Contrasting or whatever. It's not the word.
Contradicting.
You're contradicting. No, you have seen it, haven't you? You're just contradicting. Yeah. No, I'm not. No, this. So it goes like that. Then leads to the end, and you have a part where this they make a silly exit with a policeman. She just goes, you've done this, you're making bad jokes. And then that's how the end of the sketch. And then another policeman comes in and goes, I'm here to arrest you for having a silly ending to an end of a script that's completely irrelevant. And he just goes on, and I think there's like 3 inspectors that come in. And I don't know whether that was before. I don't know if it's part of the Flying Circus.
I'm not sure.
But is just a great example of Monty Python being Monty Python. Just
They get to the
end.
point of being so self-referential, they almost implode
Hugely.
on itself.
Yeah,
But
that's a great way of putting it.
in a good way. It's
a great way of putting it. Seriously great.
It's weird because I normally hate kind of random fourth wall breaks.
Yeah.
Stuff like what's recently a fourth wall break.
Deadpool,
perfect example. I think the fourth wall break's not enough. But even they try and do what Monty Python's doing, where it's like a fourth wall break within a fourth wall break, but then they do like a little wink and a nod at the camera. Whereas that's all irrelevant. That's Family Guy style, where it's like random joke.
I can't do that. Yeah,
that can just be cut from the film and be meaningless.
Yeah.
All the humour that is fourth wall breaking in Monty Python's work, especially in Holy Grail, has to be there.
Yeah,
it's part of the story.
What do you think about the not only the production design, but like this is Terry Gilliam, one of the Pythons. I'll go at the Pythons now. We've got King Arthur, who's Graham Chapman, the late Graham Chapman, fantastic guy. John Cleese, who's Sir Lancelot. You've got Sir Galahad, who is Palin, Michael Palin. You've got, who's the brave one? Sir Robin, who's Eric Idle. You've got, is it Belvedere? What's his name?
Can't remember.
It is Bedivere. I always get this name wrong. Who's Terry Jones. And Terry Jones is the one who does Brian's mum on Life of Brian. Because he's always really good at doing, when he's down there, there's some good mud over here. It's Terry Jones that does that. And then to Gilliam, I think the only person I recognise that film that he plays, because he's behind the camera, is he plays the old man, the wise old man, with the bridge. I think it's Gilliam anyway. But so going back to my point, you've got the 6 Pythons. The 5 of them appear in the film. You've got Terry Gilliam directing it all. We'll go into each of the roles. What I was going to say is just how well they utilised the fact that they had a low budget and their script, the way it's going along, we're on about it's just a way of putting these scripts put together but with a correlated story. The way that they've approached certain expenses and avoiding it, and a great example of making it's one of the things that most people like this film, a great example of them bypassing expense and making humour out of it is the fucking coconuts.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's not only something behind going, you're using coconuts. It gets referenced later on with a swallow, which at the very end of the film, this is all about the intelligent human that seems silly. The end of the film was the reason they could get over Death Bridge, because he doesn't know whether it's an African-European swallow. Oh, the king has to know this stuff.
Yep.
It's the little coconuts.
That also, I think, for me, sees the idea that maybe it makes the fourth wall break of the police more viable.
Oh, aye.
Because are these guys actually just running around like idiots, dressed up, pretending to pretend this whole thing?
Yeah.
It's not answered. You don't need it answered, but it's an idea that's kind of floated in there with the coconuts. I've kind of say, because I really want to have it down here. The bit where is it when they're going to fight the rabbit and they dismount from the invisible horses?
See, it's full of subtle humour like this. Me and Alex is the guy who got me this, and he's the one who introduced me to Monty Python, actually. So cheers, Alex. We'd watch this, then we watch it again. We watch it again and again and again and again to the point where we could just reference little scenes. Much like I am with Anchorman with my other friends, I can reference quote for quote with that, more or less. It used to be the case. I haven't seen it in a long while, this Monty Python Holy Grail, where I could reference line to line to line, and we'd have these parts, much like the dismount, Sam, call me Tim, like this. I'm an enchanter, it's stuff like that.
Fetch a lavash.
Fetch a lavash. That's it. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
And that's what the Monty Python empire is built on, is quotable lines and moments.
Your mother was a hamster. That's so intelligent. Go away, I shall taunt you a second time. Amazing. So if we just look at the Pythons in general, each individual Python, I say the contribution, and they all mutually contribute to one another. They all get in a room and write stuff, and they come out the best ones and they vote together. I don't know if you've read about the Pythons and how they work.
A little bit, but not much.
They had partnerships they all went through, I think it was Oxford, wasn't it? And they went to that comedy place where the Peep Show people went through, Fry and Laurie. I'll find the place where Fry and Laurie came and everyone like that came from and how they met. And you look at the reason Graham Chapman plays the lead role and why he plays Brian in Life of Brian is supposedly had the most acting experience of them all. And you can tell, I love it when Chapman acts and when he's doing his serious lines, he goes, "No, in the name of God. You'll see his eyes going, like,
Yeah.
and he blinks a lot, and it's part of his mannerisms, it's part of his acting. It's something, I want to say this without saying weird, is it kind of adorable to watch? Like, I know it's like the wrong kind of words.
No, I know what you mean.
It's like, it's this appreciation of like Gray and Chapman being Gray and Chapman and just fucking going all out for it. Because Chapman was one of the, if you look at the, he's icon, well, probably iconic because he's passed away. But you look at the way he's like pictures together, he was always there with his cigar in his mouth, just like resting out like that, you know, he's proper like just fucking chill, man. And then the fact that he's like King Arthur and Brian like trying to send them lectures is amazing. And you look at like everyone else, like, it's normally Idol that does the songs and stuff like that, but when they're in the Swamp Castle, it's Terry Jones that plays the young prince who's trying to go into the thing and he's going, no, parents go, no, stop that, don't do the music.
Yeah.
And it's just, everyone works together. There's such chemistry between these guys. There's such amazing stuff. There's Terry Jones again who plays Bedivere, and he's just, everything he's going like that. It's like, oh, and you see him in the background, and he knows his role inside out. There might be other people talking, but you've got Bedivere who's going, oh, yeah, it's like this.
It's all those little touches. It's all those little moments
Really?
which like add up to a film which feels like a larger cohesive whole. And the fact that everyone's pulling double duty in some respect as well. Everyone's doing...
Yes, this is a big thing, well played.
Everyone's playing some sort of other smaller role, even if it's just like some of the peasants. Like I love, is it John Cleese's character when they're trying to burn the witch? It's so funny.
This is one of the things me and Alex used to do. We used to go on about this. Sorry, this is just going a bit haywire at the moment. It's like they're on about stuff and it's like, because she's made of wood. Yeah, man. And it's...
And like the setup for it is fantastic. That whole scene is like, the setup for it is basically these people want to burn, assume this woman's a witch, but just because they want to burn somebody, really. Like that's the whole thing. Like they're desperately trying to like prove that she's a witch. So they take it to the person who's obviously in charge of letting them burn witches, and he looks down on them and goes like, "Don't be stupid. I'm going to teach you how you actually like find out if somebody's a witch." And goes on to tell them absolute nonsense. He's like,
supposed to be the wise, isn't he?
Yeah. He's like, and what burns?
What else floats? A duck. And that's King Arthur coming to go,
so if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's a witch.
It's absolutely
And
brilliant.
like, that's the resolution.
Right, so I'm trying to find this comedy club, and I'm having trouble here. I've searched Stephen Fry. I'm just going to search Oxford or Cambridge Comedy Club.
Tell you what, I'll put it in down here.
Yeah.
You can search it later and we'll put it in down there.
Thanks for that.
That's all right. It's what I'm here for.
You're a man. It's. I think we're going to see past here. It's like when these guys met up. What was it in the '60s? Yeah. So yes, there's this whole like hippie culture going around, but I'm not going to go into that, like, because I don't think that's entirely relevant to this point. It's weird because when we're going to music, and one thing I learned about when I go into music history is come the 40s, especially after the World War. You had all this about the orchestra and stuff like that. You had all this modernism, which was the case of, you know, you had this orchestras and stuff like that. Then electronic music in the 50s, and this came as concept. It's different to your perception. This particular word I'm going to use, a film, and you had this postmodernism came through in music, which came about with the electronic era. I think when it comes to comedy, don't think we really had that kind of Monty Python approach, where this silly approach, and this is why they're so revolutionary. I think that they were the postmodernists of their era, and they're in the 60s, they're thinking well outside the box, they're thinking well ahead of their time. People who might be doing comedy just normal stuff. I want to say anything about Charlie Chaplin because I think it's fantastic. But you look at stuff like Charlie Chaplin, who came before these guys, that's the type of comedy that was going around. You look at Monty Python, self-referential, silly, with great wit and intelligence behind that stuff, the way they end scenes, everything works. And it's just, for me, it's like it was the new age. It was the, I say new age, it was the new revolution in comedy. And you look at what these guys do, and it's not just these guys, it's this club I'm trying to find, because I can't stress how for British comedy, going back to this whole Animal House thing and how it differs, how much this club, I can't remember the name, is just, it inspires so many future comedians. You know, Peep Show, you got Mitchell and Webb, Peep Show. You got Fry and Laurie as mentioned, you got your Monty Pythons, you got well more people. I think the In-Betweeners, a few of them, the writers of the In-Betweeners met through there.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Dude, this fucking research into it, I know you get this film, honestly, have a look. It's hugely revolutionary. And it's just a great way of bringing stuff together. Do we look into the American versus English thing? How do we compare the two?
I don't think you can exactly compare them. I think you just have to understand that Animal House took a lot of inspiration from what Monty Python was doing.
Yeah.
But then also took it in its own direction.
Yeah.
Monty Python would go on eventually to inspire almost the entire future of comedy.
Yeah. So this is a very good point. I think that when we go to this, we came into this thinking now we're going to compare to Animal House that we did last week. It's too hard with the Pythons. We need something like where you've got like an American show like The American Office versus maybe something like The Peep Show or your like English Office. I know they go in their own way, stuff like that. The IT crowd and stuff like that. I think that's where you look at the differentiation between American and English comedy. When you have something like the Monty Python crew, it's worldwide influential. It's not just...
I mean, we're not talking about like a particularly good comedy film that came out. We're talking about one of the best comedy films that's ever been made.
Ever.
So, you can let us know what you thought of one of the best comedy films ever made in the comments below, or you can hit us up on Twitter as well. And just as a testament to its standing, not only is it still popular today, but it was popular the year it came out. And in the year it came out, in 1975, it had another big film that it went up against, which we are doing next week.
That was smooth.
Until you pointed it out. Barry Lyndon. And I can't believe this is our first Kubrick film that we've done on the show.
Yeah.
And it's going to be both a tonal shift from this week, but
And
also weirdly some similarities.
Yeah, I get that. I get where you come from.
So, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much for watching.